Hello there, my lovelies. Welcome back to my channel, Boomy Reactions, and I am Boomy. Hello. Thank you for watching. So today, guys, I would like to share another humorous, comical, observational video on the differences between the US and the UK. I would like to share another video with you today. So this one it's about the UK, actually. So I have watched an awful lot of videos now based on the USA and the differences between places across the pond. But this one today is more UK based. So this is a video about UK accents. It's very interesting. So this video comes as a request from Greg through Buy Me a Coffee. Thank you so much, Greg. Thank you for your support. And there is 2 videos that Greg has requested that I react to. So this is one of those videos, and Greg would like my opinion on these accents. So let's have a watch, shall we? I will give you my opinion on them. I'm pretty sure there is not one singular accent in the UK that I haven't come across and heard. I don't think so anyway. There's got to be like maybe a few more than 17 accents, maybe. My favourite accents, I do like a Welsh accent. I like that. I found them quite melodic. They're almost quite tuneful, the Welsh accent, I think, and it always sounds so upbeat and so happy. It's definitely one of my favourites. I'm partial to a Northern Irish accent. I like a Scottish accent. I don't think there's any accent in particular that I don't like. I think they've all got lovely characteristics of their own. The one that jumps to mind when I think of which accent is maybe the most difficult to understand, you know, if you're speaking to someone from this region, is possibly the Geordie accent, which is around Newcastle kind of area up in the northeast of England. That at times, if you have someone who is speaking particularly fast, if you haven't grown up around that kind of region and you're not used to hearing the accent, that can be a little bit baffling. I think they're going to make it into this list, so I'm sure you'll hear what I mean. And as ever, guys, if you're enjoying these reactions, please like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much.
The UK is incredibly diverse in terms of accents, and it just so happens that I can do many of these accents as my party trick.
Ooh.
So come with me as I take you on a guided tour through all of the accents and archetypes of Great Britain.
I love accents. I'm terrible at them, but I like to try.
And this is Anglophenia. And what I'm speaking right now is RP, received pronunciation, or, you know, your standard BBC English. It's spoken across the country, generally by upper middle and upper class people. Think of Martin Freeman, Benedict Cumberbatch, or, you know, most of the presenters of BBC News.
I want to say, do we sometimes refer to it as the Queen's English? But I think the accent that maybe the Queen would speak in is very more pronounced and sounds a lot more posh. So not far off, but this is probably the generalised British accent that you'll think of when you think of British accents.
So, good evening. It's 9 o'clock and this is the news. I'm very important.
Very important.
Heightened RP is generally only spoken on film and television now. So you're going to think of Nell Card or the Dowager Countess in Downton Abbey.
From Downton Abbey.
Oh, Gerald, I do love you, but you're so terribly, terribly poor.
Don't you hear it in really old-fashioned, like, Hollywood films as well? So they're very classically trained actors. And let me think. Oh my gosh, I don't know what to say. But it's very overpronounced. And I wouldn't go as far as saying it sounds posh. I don't think that quite describes it enough. It's very overly pronounced. And I'm sure in theatre, actually, it's quite a good accent to use, quite a good way to speak, especially if you're like a classically trained theatrical actor.
Now, London is the accent that most people outside of Britain can recognise. You know, that classic lock, stock and 2 smoking barrels. Get out of my pub! Go on, get out of it! Shut it, you tart! East Anglia is a flat, boggy kind of place with a flat, boggy kind of accent. I love to give you an example of somebody that comes from there that speaks like this, but they all lose this accent as soon as they can. Stephen Fry's from Norfolk, but he doesn't speak like this because he's posh. Here's a kind of classic kind of East Anglia phrase. I done dropped my computer in the fan and it's broken.
I done dropped my computer and the something and it's broken. This is an unusual accent for me because I'm on the other side of the UK, so I don't come across an awful lot of people with this accent, and quite often I think I would confuse it with the Gloucestershire accent, like that really West Country accent. Yeah, to the untrained ear, I think it's quite easy to confuse those accents together. Interesting one. I didn't know Stephen Fry.
Now let's go across the island to the West Country, which is a much rounder sound. It's farmland full of sheep and cows and apples. Think of like Sam Ganji from The Lord of the Rings or Hagrid from the Harry Potter movies. Oh, you bloody kids, get off my land! Or, oh, Mr. Frodo, don't let him turn me into anything unnatural.
Or Vicky Pollard from Little Britain, if any of you have ever seen Little Britain. It's a bit outdated these days, very comical. I don't know if it's only funny for people who actually live in the UK. I don't know whether the context is a little bit lost anywhere else, but all the same, it's very funny. Yeah, Vicky Pollard is a very chatty character from Little Britain, and she has a West Country accent, I think anyway. I actually can't differentiate between the that kind of eastern region of like Norfolk and then like a West Country accent. But yes, I think Samwise Hagrid from Harry Potter is very, very typical of this accent. Mr. Frodo type. It's a very fun accent to impersonate.
And then when you go down to Cornwall, it gets a little bit more piratey. So, hoist the mizzen mast, Squire Trelawney. Now, Southern Welsh is this great sing-songy kind of an accent. Think of Tom Jones or Richard Burton. You know, rage against the dying of the light. Bloody hell, I love Dylan Thomas. Northern Welsh is where the singer Duffy is from. It's a breathier, thicker kind of an accent, and most people from there speak Welsh at home and English is a second language. True. So, you know, diolch yn fawr.
Diolch yn fawr.
Now, across the country.
Oh no, I just got to say quickly here, I always found across the border going to university in Wales, I always found it was quite bizarre how I personally thought that the North Welsh accent sounded stronger than the Southern Welsh accent, which you think it'd be the other way around with the, you know, the capital being down south, Cardiff. So I always thought that was quite bizarre. But yes, they are two distinguishable accents, but maybe if you're not used to hearing the accent, or maybe from outside the UK, they sound very, very similar. So I don't know, for any of our USA viewers out there, I don't know if you've ever caught the British sitcom Gavin and Stacey. It's a much loved favourite sitcom here in the UK, and they live in Barry, so they are South Wales, and their accent is very typical of like a South Wales accent, and it's got to be my absolute favourite accent. It's a lovely accent, it is. It sounds like music to the ears.
Straight to the West Midlands and Birmingham. It's a very nasal kind of an accent, mostly on account of all the industry that went on in that area. Cat Daly, who presents So You Think You Can Dance, is from there. And so is Ozzy Osbourne, you know. Sharon, where's the bloody remote? Yeah, that voice that he does isn't because of drugs, it's just where he's from.
He is, he's from Birmingham. And again, another British TV series, if you ever caught Peaky Blinders. That's another favourite of all of us in the UK. Set in Birmingham. So yes, we've got Tommy Shelby and Arthur. It's a fun accent to try and impersonate.
Scouse is your classic Liverpool accent. The Beatles are from there, and so's Paul McGann. They were also made European Capital of Culture a couple of years ago by the EU, so don't tell me they're not cultured, all right? Up into Lancashire, and you know...
I think, do you know what? If I had to be really picky, I think her other accents are spot on, but her Scouse needs a little bit of work. And I say this because I am from the... I think Northern Englanders probably don't consider Cheshire, North Wales, part of the North. They probably think we're part of the Midlands. We think we're Northern. in that region, very close to Liverpool. So that accent is very, very frequently heard around this part of the UK. So I would say slight little bit of work on the Scouse accent, but very good generally overall. So my accent is a bit of a weird one. I don't know. Can any of you pinpoint, like, do I sound like I'm from anywhere in particular in the UK? So I've been told that I have a mix between like a little bit of a North Wales kind of accent at times, and a little, you know, a twang of Scouse going on there. Generally speaking, a Cheshire accent, which I don't think she's going to cover in this, is regarded as quite a neutral accent. You know, in contrast to all the different accents across the UK, it's considered quite a neutral one. Yeah, I know a few people were saying they couldn't place my accent. It is a weird accent. I think it's a bit of an amalgamation of a few, but generally speaking, a Cheshire accent is quite a neutral one. So I don't think you'd be able to pinpoint it unless you knew the accent quite well. Now, funnily enough, when I've travelled to other parts of the UK, like particularly down south or in the Midlands, the first thing that people say is, "Are you from Liverpool?" To which I say, no, but not far away. So there's got to be something about my accent to Southerners in the UK that immediately pick up on the fact that you're from close to Liverpool. It's very interesting. I do love all this about accents. It's very, very interesting.
I'll think of Christopher Eccleston or most of the cast of the Downstairs in Downton Abbey. Daisy, get those buns out the oven before they burn. Oh, Mr. Bates. So, across the Pennines to Yorkshire.
Thinking a bit Game of Thrones. See, to me, where I am from in the UK, any kind of northern accent from here sounds very, very similar. So I couldn't differentiate between a Yorkshire accent and, you know, from around Manchester, or they all sound very, very similar, or Leeds, Sheffield, they all sound very, very similar to me. But whenever I hear, to me, this is a quite typical of a northern English accent. So we're thinking Game of Thrones, you know nothing Jon Snow type thing, you know.
It's a much kind of flatter accent from Lancashire, and they cut off a lot of the words. So I'm going to pub uphill. Think of Sean Bean from Lord of the Rings or Game of Thrones. One does not simply walk into Mordor. So in Northumberland and Newcastle, you speak in a Geordie accent. So, you know, think of the Geordie Shore, or Carol Cole. Remember, she got fired from the X Factor because nobody could understand a word she was saying. Aww. Or Billy Elliot. All I want to do is dance bally, but me dad makes me box. Edinburgh's the capital of Scotland. It's a very soft, maybe a little snooty kind of an accent. Think of Ewan McGregor or Dame Maggie Smith as Professor McGonagall. That's 10 points taken from Gryffindor, Mr.
10 points for Gryffindor. I don't do a very good Scottish accent, sorry.
Potter. Glasgow is a much thicker kind of an accent. Billy Connolly and Peter Capaldi are both from there. They cut off a lot of the words, so I haven't any butter, so I've got to go to the shop, you know.
I care not what you're talking about. Not very good at all, but I'm thinking like kind of Outlander. But there's a little bit of a mix in that TV series, isn't there? I think they kind of flip from one to another. But yes, there are definitely distinct differences between these regions. And I love a Scottish accent, though. I do. I think it just sounds, I don't know, like similar to Welsh, like quite melodic, really. I do enjoy that accent.
And so up to the very north, to the Highlands of Scotland. Think of Amy Pond from Doctor Who, or maybe Sir Robert Burns. The best laid plans of mice and men, gang after Glee. Now let's go to Northern Ireland, and it's all about the vowels with the Northern Irish accent, like, so like, how now, brown cow? Liam Neeson is from there. I've got a very particular set of skills. I know he doesn't say it in that accent in the movie, but it sounds well cool, so like. And finally, Southern Ireland is obviously not a part of the United Kingdom, but I can do a Dublin accent, so let's just do it. It's a pretty classic Irish accent with a lot of assonance to it. So Sinead O'Connor's from there. Nothing compares. Nothing compares. to you. That is all from me. Tell me if there's any British accents that I missed, because I love a challenge. Don't forget to subscribe, and thanks for watching.
Oh, hang on. Let's see if we got any bloopers. Keep getting told that I'm missing bloopers. There we go. No bloopers. Oh, I really enjoyed that video. Thank you so much, Greg. Excellent suggestion. Now, I have got a suggestion here, and a Cheshire accent. Like I said, a Cheshire accent wasn't covered. Now, which I would say is probably my accent, but then again, my accent probably has a little bit of a North Wales twang, like a little bit of a Welsh hint to it. It's probably got a little bit of Scouse at times as well. I get told I'm from like all over if ever I visit places in the UK. But yes, quite often I do get asked if I'm from around Liverpool, which sounds bizarre because I don't think I have a Scouse accent at all, but I must have something of that kind of accent going on there. It's very, very interesting. So I don't think there's any other accents that have been missed out there. Like I say, Cheshire. Do a Cheshire accent. It's so undescript. You can't really even describe a Cheshire accent. It's just considered neutral. There's no particular pronunciation difference. You know, we don't say Bath, we say Bath, which sounds more northern. So yes, very, very interesting. Her accents are fantastic. I can't do accents at the drop of a hat like she can. I think it's so impressive. It's really, really fun. I'd say the Scouse accent is probably, in reality, I think it's harsher. There's certain pronunciations and certain words that are a little bit sharper, but that's it. That's the only slight picky thing that I have to say about the Scouse accent. But overall, very good accents going on there. Thoroughly enjoyed listening to those. So yes, thank you, Greg. Brilliant, brilliant suggestion. Well, I hope you enjoyed watching this video with me. Take care of yourselves for now, guys, and I will catch you on the next video. Bye-bye.